The bus coughed dust into the early morning air as it rumbled away, leaving Clara standing on the edge of nowhere with a single suitcase and a folded piece of paper that read, Bennett Cattle Company, Kitchen Help. The ranch spread before her in shades of sunburnt gold and weathered fence posts, the horizon so wide it made her feel small, but in a way that didn't scare her. She'd left a life behind in the city, a failed engagement, a dead-end diner job, the constant noise, for this, cooking 3 meals a day for cowboys who worked from dawn until stars climbed the sky. The bunkhouse kitchen was old, with cast iron skillets hanging like history and a stove that protested every time she turned the knob. By noon she had biscuits rising, beans simmering, and the smell of bacon drawing the first curious cowboys through the door. They were exactly what she expected, boots dusty, faces weathered, talk loud. They eyed her like they weren't sure whether to test her cooking or her patience first. But when they tasted her chili, thick, spiced just right, a little tang of vinegar cutting through the rich beef, a hush fell over the table, then a single nod, then grins all around. In a place where words were few, the second helping was all the approval she needed. For the first time in months, Clara felt steady. This wasn't glamorous. It wasn't easy, but it was hers, a clean slate with the smell of biscuits and strong coffee to greet the morning. It took her a week to notice him, the quiet one who sat at the far end of the table, who thanked her every night without looking at his plate first. Jack, tall, shoulders broad as the barn doors, with hands rough from rope and reins, but gentle when he poured her a cup of coffee before anyone else was awake. While the other men teased and bragged, Jack listened. He'd ask her about the city, about the things she missed, about how she learned to cook like someone's grandmother when she was barely 30. He told her about the land like it was a living thing, where the cattle grazed best after the spring rains, where storms gathered first along the ridges, where you could lie on your back at night and count falling stars like wishes. They fell into a rhythm. She'd rise before dawn, find the coffee already brewed, and Jack would be leaning on the porch rail, watching the sky turn pink. They didn't flirt. Not really, but the silence between them grew comfortable, weighted with something neither dared name. Sometimes he'd help her haul sacks of flour or crates of vegetables from town, the two of them riding in the old truck with the windows down, wind in their hair, something unspoken filling the cab. It was a Tuesday evening when everything shifted. The foreman gathered the men in the main barn, spreading maps and paperwork across a hay bale table. Clara, wiping her hands on a towel, only half listened from the doorway until she heard Jack's name. Bennett wants to move the south herd early, the foreman said. He figures with the drought creeping in, the lower pasture won't hold through August. The papers had a signature at the bottom, Jack Bennett. She froze. Bennett, the quiet cowboy with the calloused hands. The man who drank her coffee like it was a sacred ritual. The one who asked about her dreams, who carried heavy crates just so she didn't have to, who never once hinted that he was anything more than another ranch hand. When the meeting broke, she found him saddling a horse in the fading light. Bennett, she said, the name tasting strange in her mouth. He looked up, a little sheepish, like a boy caught with a secret. Didn't mean to keep it from you, he said. Just wanted you to see me for who I am, not the deed I've got in a drawer. Clara laughed, a sharp sound that surprised even her, then shook her head, smiling despite herself. You could have mentioned you own half the county, she said. He stepped closer, the brim of his hat casting a shadow over eyes that watched her carefully. Wasn't sure you'd have stayed if you knew, he admitted. Didn't want the job or me to feel different. For a long moment, neither spoke. The sun dipped, the air cooling, the quiet of the ranch settling in around them like a held breath. Finally, Clara reached up, brushed a bit of dust from his shirt front, and said softly, guess it doesn't matter now. You're still the man who makes the coffee before dawn. And in that quiet, wide-open Texas evening, with the scent of hay and warm earth all around them, something old-fashioned and hopeful settled between them, the kind of beginning that felt like home.